G'day and welcome back again for another video. And in today's video I'm going to look at this repair job that I've got at the moment, and you could be mistaken for thinking that it's possibly the one of the worst 6139s that I've had come in here. But I'm fairly optimistic we're going to get a pretty good result on the service of this watch, and I'm going to do a video series on going through that and what's done along the way. So if we just look at the general condition of the watch, you'll see that it's totally missing the crystal, and that was missing when it turned up here. So that there's actually a bit of the edge of it just in the corner here. You can just see in there. Actually, I'll just use a different tool for that. Sorry, just one sec. There we go. So yeah, you can see the glass there is still in there, and that's broken. So that's all that's really left of it. But looking at the rest of the watch, the dial is slightly rough, but it's probably a 6 or 7 out of 10 overall. So I think after a bit of cleanup and a relume, it's actually going to look fantastic. As with a lot of these, the inner ring's gone totally white, or the inner rotating ring, so we might look for a replacement for that. I'll just see what the customer wants to do. So looking at the case overall, missing crown, but the crown is actually here. So I've got that over in a box. The pushers don't work, and we'll have a look at why that is in a sec. As for the case lines in general, they're not terrible, they're pretty good. So they're still reasonably sharp. The bezel insert slightly faded, like pretty much all of them are, but is otherwise not too bad. So I'm just going to turn it over, and we can do that here and have a quick look on the inside. So just take the back off there. So the actual movement itself is in pretty good condition. I think from memory, no, it was another one I was looking at. So one of the jobs here I had a broken pull lever on here, but it's not the case with this one. So the movement is really clean, and you can see there there's not any rust in it or anything like that, so it's in very good condition overall. And yeah, I think that's going to clean up really well. So if we just have a look at the balance there, I think we're going to get a... Hang on, I'll just see if I can get this. There we go. So you can see the balance, which is that wheel there. And I'm just going to blow it with air because it's quite... you can easily damage it with a tool. So you can see there we get a swing on the balance wheel, so that's a good sign. So that means the balance wheel's in good condition. And you can see there it's even running for a little bit, so that again is a good sign that the movement is going to be in good condition and just really needs a service. So I'm just going to take the movement ring out, which is just this part here. So I'll just bring the green across again. So the movement ring is that metal ring just around there. And that serves two purposes. So firstly, it keeps the movement locked in place so it doesn't move around. It has a spring on the back which takes up shock, and also is a compression spring to push the movement down so it doesn't move around. If that's missing, the movement will rattle around and all sorts of stuff. So it's important that that's there. And the final function in these is that it keeps the pushers in. So the process to do this is that we have to push the pushers in, because they have a little this has a notch in it, and then the pushers have a flat surface on the back, and that sort of locks up against the ring. So normally I like to take the ring out from the crown side. Sometimes they can be a little bit sticky, but this one's going to come out. And that's the movement ring there. And you can see there just the small spring that is part of that. So that sits in a groove on top of the ring and stays in place that way. So you'll see here the notches. The notches. So one is for the crown and the other two are for the pushers. Now the reason why the pushers won't work is going to be, and usually this is what I say, so it's a mix of, you'll see there, I'll just zoom this in a bit if I can. So that's about as far as it's going to go, I think. Alright, so the reason is, you can see right there, so it's basically it's a mix of skin cells, oil, dirt, beer from the 1970s, food, hair, sweat, all sorts of other stuff. That's the pusher spring there. So they're just held captive between the movement ring and the pusher. And if we just have a look at the pusher here, so you can see there that seal's in pretty poor condition. It's actually rock hard, so that is going to contribute to the problems with that working as well. Let's see if we can get a better shot of that. Okay, that's better. So that seal's rock hard and there's heaps of dirt on it, which is what has caused the pusher to become stuck. Now these are just about always bent, so that's just the shaft for the pusher. It's not particularly critical that they're straight, although I do generally straighten them in the lathe just to really make it a bit nicer. So that's the first one. Now on the second one, that is stuck as well. So we'll just pull that out. And that's going to be a similar sort of scenario. So I'll just take the spring off there. And it's pretty much the same deal. So just the old skin cells, beer from the 70s, sweat, all sorts of stuff, which is just solidified around the end, around the back here, and a failed rubber seal as well. And when they go quite hard, they really go hard. And when they're that hard, they just simply don't move inside the tube that they're supposed to be in. And again, this one's quite bent, and that is because as the seal's hardened, whoever's been using it has pressed the button even harder than they normally would to get it to move, and just the pressure of doing that has just bent the shaft even more than it would normally be bent, and that's how that happens. But these are totally reusable. I'll straighten that shaft out and we'll be able to use the original pushers then, which is definitely the desirable way to go. So from there, I mean, that's all that really holds the movement in. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more. Okay, so that's all that really holds the movement in. I'm not going to take the movement out now. I've already done a teardown on the 6139, so I'm not going to do a teardown on the movement. But really, once I've got some of the other cosmetic work done and got the case back together and stuff like that, I'll probably do another video then, just showing sort of how much we've improved the appearance. Alright, so I'll leave that one there, and yeah, I'll do another video soon, and probably the next one, I haven't really got any real plan for it, but probably the next one will be something along the lines of how the dial's going to look after a reloom, and yeah, just the general, and also how well the hands clean up. So I would say that's probably the next thing I'll be looking at, and then we'll probably do a final video from there, which includes the movement running, watch all back together, and just seeing sort of how far we've come from where we've started from, which is right here, and we'll get it on the time grapher as well. and see what sort of results that we get out of that. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in another video pretty soon. And again, thanks for visiting the channel and watching my videos.